The push to extend our research and understanding further and further into the outer reaches of space is fascinating, but so too is the race to take advantage of opportunities in low Earth orbit. Cue the flight test of NASA's Boeing Starliner with human crew. Our starman, Don Haladiuk, was recently on launch watch in Florida, but as the launch was delayed, he had to busy himself with other things, in this case talking to Canadians who are part of the mission. Don is back and joins us now in studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Lauren.
You never know what you're going to get if you go to Florida. What were you hoping to see?
Oh, I was hoping to see the first crew launch of the Boeing Starliner capsule. NASA always wanted to have two methods of going into space with crews to the International Space Station. And unfortunately, there was a problem. Not with the capsule, which is wonderful. It was the rocket itself that was to launch the capsule. It had a faulty oxygen valve. And when crews are involved, NASA takes no risk. They decided to replace that valve, which unfortunately meant the rocket had to roll back to this vertical-like hangar to perform that replacement, and that put it outside my window where I could stay in Florida. So here I am talking to you this morning.
You're back in person. Well, darn. Sorry about a bit of that luck, but I understand the safety, as you say. What are the details of this launch and mission?
Well, as I said, NASA always wanted to have a redundant system, and SpaceX has been running or launching its Crew Dragon for many years now. Boeing's had troubles. They've launched this capsule twice now, and both had issues with software, with thruster problem, overheating. In fact, on one of its landings, one parachute didn't work, which is, not cool when you're trying to bring crews to and from the space station safely. But, they fixed those anomalies. We're hoping the launch will now proceed on this Friday, May 17th. And, two crew will be going up to the space station.
Yeah, okay. Can you put this in historical context, how big a deal this is?
This is huge. I mean, there's only been a handful of what's called a crew flight test. So you usually launch a rocket or a capsule without a crew just to see how if it works. Okay, except for the space shuttle, which was a tremendous achievement back in '81. So when they figured they got the little details all ironed out, they put a crew in it. So it's called a crew flight test. This has only happened 5 times before in 60 years, over 60 years
Wow.
of American space history. First one being back in the Mercury capsule back in 1961, and the most recent was the SpaceX Crew Dragon back in 2020. So, I mean, only 5 times. This would be the 6th time, and there's a lot of firsts with this, Lauren. I mean, this is the first time Starliner will have a crew. The crew consists of Barry Butch Wilmore and Sunita or Sunny Williams. Both are extremely experienced astronauts and test pilots. So these are the two perfect people to put on the first test of the Boeing capsule. Also, the rocket, the Atlas Centaur rocket, this is the first time this rocket is launching humans into space. So that's a first. And also, this is the first time a capsule will be landing on hard land. The Mercury, the Gemini, the Apollo all landed in the water. Same with the Crew Dragon. This capsule will land in the Utah desert. So parachutes have to work. It actually drops its heat shield and a little sort of, call it a bag, an airbag comes out to soften or cushion the landing. The space shuttle did land. Just to clarify, the space shuttle did land, but it was not a capsule. It was more of a glider when it came back. So this is a lot of firsts with this system.
Okay. Now, given that, the launch was delayed, you ended up spending your time connecting, among others, with Canadians down there, including an Alberta-born astronaut, Colonel Joshua Kutrick. What's his involvement on this mission?
Oh, Josh is amazing. I mean, he's a pilot, a fighter pilot, an engineer, now an astronaut. But he is intimately involved with this mission. He is on the team that is designing and testing developmental hardware for this capsule. And he has a vested interest as he's going to be flying on this capsule next year.
Okay.
But part of his role in this mission, as part of that testing and development, is also he's going to be capsule communicator. So there's one person that relays information back and forth from Houston up to the crew, and that's called a capsule communicator. Josh will be the capsule communicator for 2 of the most important phases of this mission, launch and reentry. So quite an honor for not only Josh, but for the Canadian Space Agency to have someone to take on that responsibility. A huge honor.
We have a clip of Colonel Kutrick here talking about the exciting work happening in low orbit. This is from your interview with him. Let's hear it.
On our side of the border in Canada, I hope that people are excited about it. I hope that they see it for what it is, which is the starting point of a very bright future in low Earth orbit. We know that there's just tons of opportunity there in the future for countries, organizations that position properly for it. The fact that we're here, a bunch of Canadians this weekend, speaking about this is evidence of the fact that we're right where we want to be, which is on the leading edge of this space exploration wave.
What's he talking about there in particular, and what's got NASA excited about these opportunities in low Earth orbit?
Well, it's not just NASA, Lauren. It's the Canadian Space. I think it's every space agency in the world. The space station, International Space Station, only has a few more years left. What will be replacing it is very exciting. There'll be private companies, private space stations producing pharmaceuticals, using robotic technology. There's a growing space economy that the Canadian Space Agency is funneling money. Well, the federal government is helping help an industry here in Canada to develop better robotics, going into the world of vision technology with cameras. The lunar lander that a robotic about a month or two ago was using Canadian technology. So all this. So Josh was talking about all the companies that are preparing to get on board and take part of this opportunity of the space economy. An example might be solar panels. I mean, spacecraft need solar panels to generate electricity. We're looking at putting solar panels on houses here on the Earth. So if you have more efficient solar panels in space, guess what? That technology is transferable here on Earth. Not only that, batteries. You need to have high efficiency batteries to store that power, but use them on spacecraft. You can also use them up in orbit.
A driver of innovation that matters around here too.
Spin-offs.
Thank you very much, Don.
You're very welcome, Lauren.
Always a pleasure. That was Don Haladiuk, our starman. You can find Don on X at AstroGeo.